based on real events. The house on Willow Lane was everything the Robinsons had hoped for. Wide windows, a crooked porch swing, vines that made the brick look like it belonged to another century. The children called it a castle and ran through rooms like knights. For 2 days, the newness hummed with laughter and boxes. On the third evening, Mr. Robinson walked over with a plate of cookies to meet the neighbors. The cul-de-sac was bright with porch lights and the murmur of polite hellos. But when he reached the last house, the narrow one with the blue door, nobody answered. He knocked. Nothing. He leaned his ear to the wood. From somewhere above came the thin sound of a music box waltz, the sort of song that melts into the walls and refuses to leave. He waved to the other neighbors, who shrugged. They'd never seen anyone go in or out of that house either. That night, the Robinsons settled in to the small, ordinary noises of a new home. Pipes, the fridge, the soft arguing of a radiator. At midnight, the children woke crying, whispering about a woman singing down the hall. The lights were on upstairs, an easy, impossible fact because no one had been in that house. When Mr. Robinson pressed his back against the blue door and listened, he heard voices through the doorframe. A conversation like someone rehearsing old memories, punctuated with a child's laugh that had no echo in the yard. By the time he convinced himself to call the police, curiosity had become something colder. The officers checked records. The blue-doored house belonged to no one on the street. There were no utility hookups in recent months, no mail. The clerk at the station frowned at the address and said, with a flat, bureaucratic certainty, "There's no one registered there." Still, the music kept playing at night. They began to notice small things that did not belong to strangers. A child's crayon scrawl on the curb outside the blue house that matched the handwriting in their son's scribble pad. A single small shoe on the porch step when the family swore they had locked every door. Mail arrived for no name. A folded photograph. An invitation to a party the neighbors insisted never happened. The family's sleep thinned into edges. Each night the waltz wound slower, more deliberate, as if it were dragging time into itself. One afternoon, Mrs. Robinson followed the sound. Not the music this time, but a faint, deliberate humming around the back of the house. The fence had a splintered board she was sure had not been there before. Through the gap, she saw a hallway lined with framed photographs. They were all the same family, the same faces, smiling at the camera in the same living room. Her stomach fell away when she recognized herself in every frame. In each, the blue-doored house stood visible through a window behind them. The last photo was different. The edges were blurred, and the eyes in the family's faces looked like they had been rubbed out. By the time the police insisted again, by the time a proper search was ordered, the blue door was open and empty inside. There were no footprints on the floor, no beds, no furniture. The attic hatch was closed. The officers left with the same uneasy explanation. Sometimes houses keep echoes. Sometimes people mistake memory for reality. When the Robinsons went inside to leave a note, a message asking anyone who might be staying to knock before midnight, they found the note already there. It was written in their son's looped handwriting. "Welcome home." The music box waltz started in the ceiling and moved like breath. They ran to the door. The street outside was full of neighbors, faces pale in the dusk, all of them staring at the blue house. No one saw the way the porch light blinked like an eye. No one heard the soft closing of the attic hatch. The neighbors told the police they had been there the whole time. They remembered the Robinsons moving in. They remembered handing them casseroles and greeting them at barbecues. When the clerk checked records a final time, the Robinsons' names were gone from the lease. In their place, sparse and official as dust, was the last entry. An old family name long since crossed off the town roll. Later, when a new family drove down Willow Lane and stopped at the curb to admire the beautiful lived-in house with the blue door, a small boy in a window waved. He watched the car leave, then picked up a music box and wound it until the waltz began anew. By the time anyone noticed that the Robinsons did not answer their calls, it was already too late. Dear subscribers, leave your thoughts about this story in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to us. Good luck!